Our next session takes us into the world of K-12 homeschooling startups. Over the past few years, homeschooling has grown beyond a niche approach to education, and it's now a thriving ecosystem. So we're going to have a fireside chat, which is entitled From Concept to Classroom, Success Stories of K-12 Homeschooling Startup Ventures. We'll hear directly from those who have built innovative solutions to empower families and students outside the traditional classroom setting. We'll dive into their journeys, the challenges they faced, and how they've revolutionized the way learning happens at home. To guide us through this conversation, we'd like to welcome up Tanya Schellerup, founder and CEO of Skolin Online APS, and adjunct professor Dr. M. Akran C. Munaim, Chief Executive Officer of Mega Jati Academy. Let's welcome them up onto the stage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction by our MC. I'm Akram from Malaysia, and we have Tanja today from Denmark. Is it? From Denmark. So actually, our topic today, we're talking about from concept to the classroom success story of K-12 homeschooling startup ventures. So for myself, in Malaysia, we don't have any, what do you call that? We are not, there is a mandatory school for up to 12 years old in Malaysia, up to, we call it as primary school up to 12 years old. But I believe that Tanja has having their own experience in their own countries. So maybe you want to introduce Tanja first. Maybe you have to introduce yourself, then we can go to our session. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Akam. Good morning, everybody. It's really nice to be here and share the journey of this possibilities of evolving education. I'm the founder of Skolin Online. It's an online school, and it's for children from the age of 7 up to 24. I'm from Denmark, and in Denmark we are allowed to homeschool. We have traditional school, but we have homeschooling, and we have private schools as well. So online school is a new thing in Denmark. I invented it in 2019. I've been in education since 2005, but I saw that there was a need for another possibility for students to thrive in untraditional school frames or frames of school.
Yeah, talking about the traditional school or traditional methodology in delivering schooling. So, from your experience, let's talk about 2005. You starting on these education things. So, what is the major difference between that time and currently in what we have in our current situation?
I would say that the major difference is that in traditional school, you show up at school at 8 o'clock and you stay there till 3, 4, 5 o'clock. And in online school, you have a totally different way of possibilities to learn, because you have all the technology that can help you. And with the technology, you are free to learn in your own time as well. But in my online school, we have both ways. We have traditional kind of schedule where they meet in school. They come at school and then they have some few hours with teachers online, and that's kind of traditional. But they are flexible because they do not need to be in school, because we have all the things there, so they can come later if they are like in sport or something like that. When we are teaching, then they can come back to school, to our online school, and then they can follow the curriculum there and still catch up on what they need to learn.
Yeah, I see. So meaning to say that the curriculum is there, the platform for learning is there, but the students need to enter by themselves to enroll the class.
Yes.
It's actually a pre-recorded session or you got a synchronous meeting with the teachers over there.
I have the teachers on there.
Meaning to say it's a synchronous, it's a sync meeting. You need the communication, they have anything engagement with them all. All right. So
yeah, it's
this
live.
part of it. So what I can say from homeschooling is sometimes we don't rely on technology, we rely on the parents itself. So how you can add on the parenting, skills on in terms of having this homeschooling success?
Well, there's nobody, not even an educator, that is able to teach everything. And that really goes for parents as well. Most parents, they are caregivers, and they do not have all the needs, so they need the curriculum, and that's what is needed. This is what we give them. We present them with a possibility to enroll their children in our school, either in one subject or in all subjects,
Okay, so we need the curriculum is been developed
by our teachers.
your teachers,
Yes.
and what is kind of standard that we're following? There must be a national standard for this. For respective countries, we're referring to some standards, and that standard is actually cascade into the curriculum. So how do we do that?
The Ministry of Education in Denmark has like this curriculum that you have to follow, but it's quite flexible as well. And this is what we help them to live up to. There's kind of these rules that if you homeschool and you do not live up to this, then they will take the children and say you need to go to traditional school. So this is what we help them and say, if you follow this curriculum, then you're sure that your children can still be in homeschool and it is allowed by the government.
Yeah, I see. Oh, before we go far, I think maybe we need to understand when we talk about homeschooling, what kind of age that we are talking about of students? Is it starting from 7 years old?
Yeah, from 6 years old,
From
actually.
6 years
Yeah.
old. So he or she needs to be guided to use all these facilities,
Yes.
isn't it?
And that is the parents.
That is the parents.
Yeah, the parents
responsibility.
need to help them with that.
So maybe one of the parents, not everybody will be at home during the time, so they might be on work too. So can you give us actually how it can be possibly done in that way? So with this kind of limitation and also things that we need to ensure the delivery of the curriculum is still there. At the same time, we have some restrictions, so maybe you can add on it.
I would say, well, you're pointing in there. Nobody in Denmark, most parents, they actually work. So if you have enough money, then it's possible to one of them to stay home. Or if they are traveling, then one of them is probably staying home as well. And it's also up to a certain age where the children need the help. Because when we reach an age of 11, 12, then the children are able to be at home and go on school and join the school themselves. So then the parents do not need to be there. But from the age of 6 to 12, then we demand that they have a parent that help them.
So from age 6 to 12.
Yes.
So they must be assisted by someone,
Yes.
Parents or something.
Parents or someone, yeah.
Parents.
Somebody is also grandparents that helps them as well. We experience that.
Okay. So the curriculum developed by the teachers and the guide or the standard will be established by the government for us to deliver the content based on that. So can we touch on the, sometimes we use this continuous assessment to assess our student ability and their the score and whatnot. So how we can ensure that the score or the ability that can be measured. By the way, maybe our conference members can also prepare some questions. I will pose the question to the floor. I think about one or two more questions from myself. Then hopefully we can get some engagement from our audience as well.
Mm-hmm.
So can you add on that how we can ensure the assessment can be run, even though we have that kind of parenting, schooling, but at home, and with some limitation and how it can be assessed.
Well, the only thing we can do from my school is to ensure that they have a curriculum and they have the possibility to connect online to the platform that we have, and guide them the best we can to show them where do you find these sessions, these online sessions for the online classes, where do you find the assignments, and how do you help your children to turn in these assignments. And then our teachers, they give them feedback, and that's very traditional. It's just in an online way. But if the parents do not do this, then we cannot do anything, because it's a business I run, so I can only offer them something, and then they buy it from me. And so they have to live up to it themselves, and if they do not do that, that's where the government comes in. So the government would come and check on all the things that these children are learning at home, and this is what we help them with.
I see. So even though the assessment, we can talk about assessment later, but I'm curious just to know. There's some we need to assess on the knowledge domain, this psychomotor domain, and also sometimes affective domain to ensure the delivery of our curriculum is attainable to our students. So if the things that require psychomotor activities, hand skill and whatnot, so how we can put it into our assessment and to monitor from the end of the screen.
If it's something that you need to put your hands on, actually, we're saying that we elevate education to the next level by a mix of technology and offline reality, because nobody can learn everything online. So we need to provide them with assignments or assessment, or give them something that they can take offline, and then they can show it on. When they have done it offline, then they can show it online that they have done it. It could either be pictures or a video of them making food, for example, or painting a picture, something like that.
So it's doable.
It is very doable, yes.
It's very doable.
Yes.
Okay, maybe after my next question, I will ask for anyone from the floor to ask, pose questions straight away to Tanja again. And talking about that, Tanja, can you continue on social, socializing, or how these students learning by themselves and with their parents, and how we can ensure that they also able to communicate with other peers in terms of making them socialize with other members or other kids as well.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because one of the questions that we always get is, how do these children get socialized? But when you're online, it's more flexible. And if you have the parent support, then these children are able to go out and be socialized outside the online school. We have our own offline trips where we socialize our students, and we facilitate discussions on Discord or wherever the children are located online to make them meet each other outside the education. But with this flexibility, then we have students that are actually elite sport basketball students, and they are training in Spain, and we are in Denmark, where they are learning the Danish curriculum. But that means that they can both train their sport and go to school and then get the full curriculum.
So meaning to say that the extracurricular or curriculum activities also can be conducted by having this kind of framework.
Yeah.
You're talking about a framework, right? Must be from the government, some standards, and then deliver it to curriculum, and then you can need to ensure the delivery effectiveness as well as the assessment comes together to measure every of the students. So if you have any student, any question from the floor? Yeah, sir, please.
Hi, good morning, Tanya. Thank you for those insights. I'm actually taking a group of students to Billund for the International Academy of Boarding School Denmark for an exchange. We have done 3 years. My question is, what is your opinion and how is the education going to look like in the next 10 years?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I don't think I can answer that in just a couple of sentences. I think it's going to change a lot, especially with technology. This first panel discussion we had with immersive technology, that's going to make a major impact. Especially in the next 10 years, I think we're going to see more students moving from traditional school to other schools possibilities, either homeschooling or online school. If you look all over the globe, we have different laws on how children can be schooled or how they may be schooled. But I think that's going to change as well, especially in Denmark. When I started my school, I thought, okay, it's going to take 5 years before I can even contact the government and say this is a possibility for students of this age. But then Corona came, and it showed actually that this is a possibility for many more students to thrive when they are learning. So, and I think that's going to grow within the next 10 years, especially with all the technology. And I think there's things that we have not even thought about yet that we're going to see within the next 10 years.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Is there any more question from the floor, please? You can. Is there any more question? Yeah, please, ma'am.
Good morning. So my question is, you just mentioned that you thought about this idea, how or when can I approach the government, the city, to even let them know about this concept? What would you say is the best approach to convince this authorities to new concepts? Because this is something I struggle with in daily, on daily basis in the academics, to convince people that we have to have other approaches when it comes to diversity in learning concepts.
Your name?
Nicola Scherer.
Nicola?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think it depends on which country you're from, how you should approach them. But in Denmark, we are allowed to homeschool, so that's one thing. That's just allowed. It's by the law that we can do that. But I'm also having an online school for students that's actually enrolled by the government or by the municipalities. And this is where I thought I cannot talk with them before 5 years. But the Corona showed them that there are students that actually started thriving while they were being in homeschool. And then there are students that did not thrive at all. And these students that did not thrive at all, those are the ones that need to be in physical school frames. And the ones that did not thrive during Corona, those are the ones who is actually not thriving in school and getting all these kind of illness from being in traditional school. And this is what we have noticed in Denmark, that the municipalities and the government has also noticed, but they did not notice it before we were on board and showing them that this is actually a possibility.
Yeah, thank you. I think based on these two questions from our participants today, the first thing is talking about what we can see or foresee the future of the online school. They will be asked by our gentleman just now, and also I think she's talking about the regulatory framework. Okay, wait, just short one, man. Wait, but you can stay there. We are talking about the regulatory framework. What is the requirement from the government to ensure that we don't have any other perspective when talking about this online school rather than conventional school? There is a very valid reason or valid situation where we still need to convince that the online schooling is possible and doable, right? Yeah, it's okay. Please, let's see. Here's question.
Hi, Tanya. It's very encouraging and good to hear that you are the one who's doing this online. I just want to not really ask you a question, but support your idea of online schooling. Just to let you know that I'm Dr. Mirza. I'm a life transformational coach and a master NLP and hypnotherapist and a cupping therapist. So that's me. My younger sister is a medical doctor from Dubai. We all grew up here. She has, mashallah, 7 children, and she is now residing in Saudi Arabia. She decided to homeschool her children rather than to pursue her own career as a doctor. She said, I have got the medical knowledge, so I have a degree or whatever qualification. I'd rather spend it on my children than for the community and society, because they come first for me. And she homeschooled them right from the beginning and she was using the British curriculum. She was with the online education system, homeschooling with Britain. And I just want to tell you the end result, that her children have now reached university level and passed university. They were taken to high school straight away from home to high school.
Yeah.
So just to tell you that those who are now, you're still in a beginning stage, but there's somebody who's already done it and successfully. So it's not something that we have to think about whether it will be or not. I think they were very well groomed, because what they did is, you have to be structured when you're doing this kind of education program. So she would conduct the classes for the children, give them a break time, give them a play time and whatever, then lunch time, and 4 o'clock they would wait for the father to come, who would do the martial arts with them. And they would have, it's a wholesome thing, that you have got the physical training, you've got this, plus they were also being educated in 3 different languages, so that they had language skills. You get more time when you do homeschooling to concentrate and focus on certain aspects rather than wasting your time. And you mentioned about falling ill when they go into the school system. I want to add that they also fall into bad company, which is much more than just falling ill. You can treat them medically when they are physically sick, but when they're mentally sick, you have bigger problem like our friend just mentioned. Then you have addiction problems and other problems. I've seen children going into bad company by going to school and colleges, and that you can save them from all that by focusing in how you want to train. Education is not just studies, it's training and grooming the child into a good adult.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted
Thank
to say
you.
in support of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so
I
much.
agree
think
very
that's a very
much.
good point for us to blend together with our discussion today. Thank you, Miss. And talking about that, I think our member just now is just touch on how the success stories of our another person. We're having about seven children, right? Is it? And all success based on homeschooling method. But one thing that can be maybe further elaborate by Tanya is actually when talk about homeschooling, we need to have some established standards that apply for the nationwide or worldwide, basically, because our students need to be able to, kind of migrating in future. This kind of global interconnectedness, they need to work somewhere, maybe not in the same countries in future. And same goes, there's another countries students may come to our country to work, and that kind of leveraging the system of standard need to be somewhere in our system. So how you can add on that?
I would say that education is so much older than the traditional school systems. So a curriculum is of course needed, but it's needed to learn to write and read and do numbers and all that. Everything else is something that we need to provide them with the possibilities to get more knowledge within their own interest and their own skills, because that's going to be much better for the future. I always say that if everybody needs to learn the same, when should somebody else learn something new? So I believe this is what we do in my school. I believe that we have to live up to the national curriculum, because that's what they ask from the government. But that's like the minimum part of it. Besides that, then we are trying to give them possibilities to grow on their own skills. And what that lady, she just came up and told with her sister, that gives the students or their children much more possibilities and flexible pathways to their own learning path or their own learning journey.
So means they carve their own journey in terms of education. They pave by their own, isn't it? Okay. How about things like recognition? We do understand that curriculum somehow even established in many countries, different background, different curriculum and methodologies, but they need somehow to be mutually agreed at the recognition level, so that we can have a global standard when producing students, for example, at level 12 years old, 15 years old, maybe 17, 18 years old. So actually the age, it will be determine the ability in some areas where it's part of the assessment that we want to understand. So recognition, in terms of recognition for mutually recognized, what you can see on how it's being implemented currently.
I'm not sure actually. I think that what needs to be disturbed is like the whole thing of how we teach children or how we teach adults. And that's what we can do with online schooling or with homeschooling, because we open up the possibilities and say, okay, this is the bottom curriculum. This is what's needed to be learned in this country, but how can you move it up to a global perspective? Because more and more people are moving around the globe. Even the Danish people are. We have like 40. We are a really small country, but we have about 40,000 Danish students located all around the globe. And if they want to come back to Denmark and they want to go into the university in Denmark, then they need to take like this specific journey. But I believe, and that would probably be an answer to that question on how it will be developed in the next 10 years. I believe that there's, with these online schools that are growing up all different places on the earth, I believe that there's more possibilities for the students to, or the young ones to grow up and be even more sufficient for the whole world altogether, not only for their own country, but for the world.
That should be the aim for the education system. Any other additional from the floor? We can open up one more question, please.
Hello, this is Salma. I am an online educator, head of product in a small company. We teach kids online coding and programming. So I had a question regarding the standards, and I really appreciate that you guys mentioned that. But I'm talking about another perspective. When we're talking about the instructors who will deliver the standards of that education, what do you see, or what are the important requirements in the instructor who will deliver that education online, so that you would say that this can teach those kids online? Because keeping kids start, you said that you teach kids who are 7 years old, and it's really really hard to let them sit in front of the computer for like an hour or two. So what do you do, or what do you see in your instructors that can help you with your vision?
Thank you for that question. Actually, what we do with the small ones is we have lessons of 15 to 20 minutes. It's really compact, and that's where they can concentrate. So after the 15 minutes, we're gonna let them up and dance or have a break or something like that, and then we take 20 more minutes or 15 more minutes. It actually depends on the group of students. Sometimes we only have 1 or 2 students in a class. Sometimes we have 15, and that makes it, the younger they are, the fewer we have in the class. So that is really important to say that. And even for the elder students, we do the same. We have like lessons of 20 minutes, and then we have lessons of 50 minutes. The lessons with the 20 minutes is compressed, and it's just, this is the bottom curriculum that I was talking about. And the 50 minutes is where they go into assignments. This is where they can ask questions to the teacher as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we got something to add more. Okay, maybe from there, Tanja, can you add on with that kind of ability and also the readiness of internet or online learning, what we can see on the limitation of it? Is it just applicable for maybe at level 12-year-old student, or we can up to the university's level to learn online too? Is it possible to any of the program or any of the age can be enrolled in this kind of online learning? Is it possible?
Yes, any age. I would say actually it's the eldest people that would not, if we talk like 80, 90 years old that wants to learn something, then they would probably prefer to go to a physical place unless they are really interested in technology. The younger they are, the more they understand the technology that they need to be joining on when they are joining an online school or so. And if I would just say about homeschooling does not have to be online all the time. It could be supported with online lessons. But if you're a homeschooling parent, then you might just say, I'm going to do this by myself, and then they'll teach everything, and they will not need any educators, because the whole system or the whole internet is open for them, so they can find everything they need there. They have just they have to decide how to do it.
That's true. So meaning to say that the parents, contribution in delivering the homeschool is still important.
Very much.
Very important.
Yeah.
And based on whatever infrastructure do we have, we're talking about curriculum, we're talking about assessment, we're talking about this framework, mutually recognition, but it needs to start somewhere in the house, isn't it? By the own parents.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very good discussion on the homeschooling advantage and also disadvantages. We are also talking about this flexible scheduling just now mentioned by one of our members over here, and stronger family bond, also something that can be established using this homeschooling, because we engage direct to the parents and so for the family members. And can we add one, because we've got about 1 or 2 more minutes, as a overall, the holistic approach of homeschooling, starting from 6 years old up to maybe 18, 20 years old. So how we can do everything um, just to ensure that the output of our system, even coming from this kind of internet or homeschooling, can be still recognizable in the mutual for other countries, or maybe other before they go into the professions.
I would say it's really important to have educators that knows the curriculum of the country there to ensure that they are presented with what they need to learn in these different kind of subjects. And then when you have that, then you can say there's so many possibilities on learning that subject. Yes, exactly.
So maybe one more question, last one from the audience, if you have one, just a short one, that we can close the session.
Yeah, I think there was one.
Just
there, but
one
she's
more,
talking
last one.
now.
Oh, or we can end here. So maybe as a summary, Tanja, I said today we can talk about success story of kids who have homeschooling startup ventures, and we have Tanja today, and we have talked about the curriculum development and also the framework. We are talking about the some difficulties as well, and we have also having good points coming from our audience today. And overall, that I can see that even though the homeschooling or even this kind of online education is still maybe become alien for some uh, communities, but it's doable. It can be part of the system or syllabus of infrastructure that can be raise our education system into the next level, basically for the coming 10 to 20 years of education. So, Tanya, from your last, summary for the session today.
Oh, I would say that every venture starts with a dream, but you have to have the commitment to make it into reality.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and thanks for the session, and thanks all for
Thank
your.
you very much, Akram.
Thank you so much.